It's Shreya Garapi coming at you with a video about the most frequently asked questions that I receive about VIPKid from my friends on Instagram, on Facebook, or texting me wondering more about what I do with VIPKid. So the first most frequently asked question that I get is it worth it? And for me, of course, I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't worth it for me. I'm wrapping up my second year with VIPKid, and for me, it's totally worth it because I love it, and it's provided my family with some extra income to help those really expensive toddler years where daycare is pretty expensive. So for me, the answer is yes. The second most popular question that I get is, how much money do I make? Now, I shared a little bit about this in my scheduled video, which I will link below, but for me, last year in 2018, I made, I think it was $5 short of $10,000. So I almost made exactly $10,000 in 2018. And for me, that equated to roughly $800 to $1,000 a month, depending on the month, if I'd taken vacation time, if I'd taken time off, or if I'd worked more. So that was my average, is about $800 to $1,000 a month, which I'm working towards again in 2019. So how much money you make is a little bit complicated. You start with your base pay, which usually ranges from $7 to $9. And then if you teach 30 or more classes, you get 50 cents more per class, which works retroactively. And then if you teach 45 or more classes, that's per month, then you get $1 more per class. So for me, each class is $8 base pay, and I always make a point to teach more than 45 classes a month. So that means it ends up being $1 more for participation and $1 more for being more than 45 classes. So I know this sounds complicated, but the short version is each class is about $10. Each class is roughly 25 minutes to a half hour, which means I make it's 2 classes per hour, so about $20 per hour. So if I teach 20 to 25 classes a week, which is my goal, I make $200 to $250 for 10 to 13 hours. So for me, again, it's worth it. $800 to $1,000 per month, which was about $10,000 in the whole entire year. So the next most popular question I get, number 3, is what do I need to start? And the simple answer is just a couple of simple props. For me, I've spent $0 on props because I have a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and I'm a classroom teacher. So honestly, all of my props are my kids' toys. So I have stuffed animals, puppets are pretty important. Puppets allow me to have a conversation, and if I have to ask a question, what do you like to eat for lunch? I like to eat pizza for lunch. It helps the kids see that I'm modeling a conversation. I very often use numbers and letters. Again, I didn't buy these. I just use my kids' props. And left over from my brick and mortar classroom, I had some props that just really weren't necessary in the type of classroom that I have, that I had been given many years ago when I first started teaching. So things like colors in 2nd grade, my students already know their colors, so these were unnecessary, but they're a great tool for teaching English. So things that I found in my classroom that I hadn't used in years, or props that my kids had, are really all that I use. Now, in order to start teaching, I also get questions, do I have to be a certified teacher? Now, I am a certified teacher, and that can boost your base pay, the 7 to 9 that you start with, but you only have to have a bachelor's degree. So there are plenty of brick and mortar teachers that also teach for VIPKid, but there's also a lot who are not brick and mortar teachers, and that's okay too, as long as you have a bachelor's degree. The 4th most popular question that I get is, what do I need to have in my classroom? Now, this goes similar with props, but in addition to having props and things that will help you teach, VIPKid does want you to have some sort of class environment that shows that you're welcome and inviting to your students. So for me, I did the alphabet. I like to make props and backgrounds that can also be teaching tools. So I have a number grid over here and the alphabet over here, which are teaching tools, but also are friendly and inviting. My little panda, of course. And these are just things that make the environment seem nice. Now, it is important that you have good lighting. Now, behind me, I have a really bright lamp on my face. I also have bright lights over top, which allows there to be some good lighting. But honestly, those were not things that I had to buy. They were things, again, that I had at my house that I just moved them into the room where I teach from. The fifth most popular question that I get is, how much time does it take you to prepare? And I almost always get this question from people who are already brick and mortar teachers. Now, in my second grade classroom here in America, I spend hours and hours preparing. I have prep time and things that I do at home to prepare for my lessons. One of the things I love about VIPKid is that the prep is very, 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 very small. Now, it happens more at the beginning when you're getting used to the curriculum, but now that I'm used to the curriculum, honestly, for each class, it maybe takes me 1 or 2 minutes to flip through the slides, to pull out my props and things that I'm going to need to teach that lesson, and then I'm good to go. So as I shared in my schedule video below, I teach 3 classes Monday through Friday, which usually takes me 5 minutes or less to prep through. I simply open the app on my phone, I go through the slides, I pull up the props, and I'm set. On Saturdays when I teach 8 classes, it might take me more like 10 to 15 minutes to go through the slides for every lesson and pull props, but that's 5 to 15 minutes max, and that's really no big deal, and it just helps me know that I'm ready. Some teachers don't take that. Everybody has a different teaching style. For me, even 2 years in, I find flipping through the slides and pulling the props does help my brain be ready for that day. But again, 5 to 15 minutes max. And the last, number 6, the question that I get asked most frequently is, what hours can I teach? Now, I'm in Eastern Standard Time, which means I'm 12 hours behind Beijing time, except for when we switch our clocks, then I'm 13 hours. But in the summer, I'm 12 hours behind. And so when it's 6 a.m. here, it's 6 p.m. there, which means you can teach anytime from 8 a.m. in Michigan until 10 a.m. in Michigan, which for them would be 8 p.m. in Michigan, 8 p.m. in Michigan until 10 a.m. in Michigan, which in Beijing would be 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. Now, of course, during the weekdays, most of the kids are in classes, so really the only time they're going to have heavy bookings is from 4 a.m. Michigan time, which is 4 p.m. there, until 10 a.m. Michigan time. But really the most popular time to get bookings is from 7 until 9. I find that before 4:30, it's kind of tricky to get bookings because they're usually at school, but usually from 4:30 until 10, if I want bookings, I can. Now on the weekends, you can really book anytime. There are some people who will work from midnight all the way to 10 o'clock the next day. I could not work that long, but it is a possibility if you're one of those people who can work the nights. So the hours again could be 8 p.m. until 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but the most popular time is going to be from 7 to 9, but the possibility is okay usually from 4 until 10. So those are my 6 most frequently asked questions. If I missed a question that you really would like to know the answer to, pop it down below. Thanks for watching.